Keystone Reading by Keziah Knowles. Page 8, Unit 1.
Fact or fiction? Set a purpose for reading. Preview the text. What kind of mysteries do you think the text will present? Read to find out why some mysteries are so hard to solve. Path to the Stars? About 4,500 years ago, the pharaoh Cheops and his son and grandson built the 3 pyramids of Giza in Egypt. These pyramids were tombs, or places to bury the dead. For thousands of years, people didn't understand why these 3 pyramids were grouped together. Then, Belgian engineer Robert Bauval noticed that the shape of the 3 pyramids were the same as a part of group of stars in the sky called Orion's Belt. The whole group of stars, Orion, was sacred to the Egyptians. When Cheops died, he was buried in the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Egyptians made a shaft, or hole, in this pyramid. The shaft led from Cheops' tomb to the sky and the 3 stars of Orion's Belt. Scientists believe that the Egyptians built this shaft so that Cheops could fly from the pyramid to Orion. There, he would become a god. The 3 stars in Orion's Belt. The 3 pyramids of Giza from high above. This diagram shows the shaft in the pyramid. Page 9. The Secret of the Great Sphinx. A huge statue with the head of a man and the body of a lion stands in Giza, Egypt, known as the Great Sphinx. It seems to defend the pyramids behind it. Like the pyramids, the Sphinx is made from limestone, which is very common in Egypt. The exact age of the Sphinx remains one of the world's greatest mysteries. For thousands of years, wind and sand have eroded this enormous sculpture. Some archaeologists believe the water also damaged the Sphinx many years ago. Was the Sphinx once buried at the bottom of the sea? No one knows for sure. Mysterious cities. Some ancient cities were abandoned and no one knows why. One of these cities is Machu Picchu, located about 2,440 meters or 8,000 feet high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. The Inca built Machu Picchu from about 1460 to 1470 Christ era. They believed in parts of South America, including what is now Peru. They used stone blocks to make most of the buildings. The blocks fit together perfectly. In the early 1500s, everyone left the city. No one knows why. Perhaps people died or left because of the smallpox, a deadly disease that was brought to the Americas by European explorers and colonists. Machu Picchu was forgotten for hundreds of years. Then, in 1911, the American explorer Hiram Bingham rediscovered it. Today, tourists from all over the world visit this unique city. The Sphinx has the head of a man, and the body of a lion. The abandoned city of Machu Picchu, clues of an ancient civilization. Page 10. Stonehenge. Stonehenge is a mysterious monument of huge stones in England. Ancient peoples built Stonehenge about 5,000 years ago. No one really knows who these people were, or why they built this strange circle of rocks. Some people believe that Stonehenge was a temple to the sun. Other people believe that Stonehenge was a great stone calendar or calculator. They think that the stones were arranged to measure the sun's movements. For example, the stones may have been used to measure the summer and winter solstices, the longest and shortest days of the year. Perhaps Stonehenge was created to mark the rise of the sun and moon throughout centuries. How will we ever know for sure? Some stones at Stonehenge came from 480 kilometers away. How people moved them is a mystery. Island of Giants. Easter Island is a tiny island in the Pacific Ocean, 3,620 kilometers, or 2,250 miles off of the east coast of Chile. It was named by Dutch explorers who arrived here on Easter Sunday in 1722. The island is covered with nearly 900 statues called Maui. Scientists believe that the statues are the gods of the ancient people of Easter Island, the Rapa Nui people, but no one knows for sure. Another mystery is how the Rapa Nui people moved the heavy stones as far as 23 kilometers, or 14 miles. Archaeologists have found wooden tablets with the ancient language of the Rapa Nui people on them. No one knows how to read this language today, so the history of the Rapa Nui people is still a puzzle. Only the great stone statues remain to watch over the island. The Maui have an average height of 4 meters, or 13 feet. Page 11. Curse of the Pharaoh. Tutankhamun was a pharaoh in Egypt from 1333 to 1324 BCE. When he died, Tutankhamun was buried in a tomb with gold and other treasures. In 1922, a group led by the British archaeologist Howard Carter and Lord Carnarvon opened the tomb of Tutankhamun. They found many treasures, including a beautiful gold mask. Some people believe that a message carved into the tomb wall said, "Death will slay with his wings whoever disturbs the peace of the pharaoh." Lord Carnarvon died soon after opening the tomb. According to one story, Carnarvon's dog died at the same time as at his home in England. Then, 5 months after Carnarvon died, his younger brother died suddenly. According to the report, 6 of the 26 people at the opening of Tutankhamun's tomb died within 10 years. However, many other people who were there when the tomb was opened lived to be very old. Was there really a curse? What do you think? Tutankhamun's mask, Howard Center, and Tutankhamun's mummy. Page 12. Terrifying tentacles. Scientists say that we know more about Mars than we do about the mysteries at the bottom of the ocean. For instance, little is known about giant octopuses and squid. These sea creatures are only about 60 to 90 centimeters, or 2 to 3 feet, long. However, there have been reports of giant octopuses and squid with tentacles long enough to pull ship underwater. In 1753, a man in Norway described seeing a huge sea monster full of arms. The man said that the monster looked big enough to crush a large ship. More recently, giant squid have been discovered with tentacles 10 meters or 33 feet long. Imagine eating calamari rings the size of truck tires. A giant octopus. Scary monsters. Most people believe that dinosaurs disappeared millions of years ago. However, few dinosaurs may have survived. The Loch Ness Monster may be a living dinosaur-like reptile called a plesiosaur. People first reported seeing the Loch Ness Monster in April of 1933, when a new road was built on the north shore of Loch Ness, a lake in Scotland. A man and woman saw a huge creature with 2 black humps swimming across the lake. Then, 2 more people saw a strange animal crossing the road with a sheep in its mouth. There is now a Loch Ness Investigation Bureau, but most scientists believe that the Loch Ness Monster is a creature of fantasy. This famous photograph of the Loch Ness Monster is not authentic. The photographer tied a plastic head to a toy submarine. Page 13. Bigfoot and the Yeti. In various parts of the world, people have told stories about seeing large, ape-like creatures. Different cultures give the creature different names. In the United States, for example, this creature is called Bigfoot or Sasquatch. In Tibet, it is called the Yeti. The first reports of Bigfoot date back to 1811. At that time, a man reported seeing footprints 36 centimeters or 14 inches long. In 1924, another man claimed that Bigfoot had kidnapped him. Each year, many people in the United States claim to see Bigfoot. They often report seeing the creature in the forests of the Northwest. Reports of a huge creature frightened the first European travelers in Tibet. In Tibet, the word Yeti means man-like creature. In 1951, a Mount Everest explorer found giant footprints in the snow. Do creatures like the Yeti and Bigfoot really exist, or are they figments of the imagination? Bernard Heuvelmans, a famous zoologist, believed that the world is full of creatures still unknown to science. What do you think? Bigfoot, above, and the Yeti, below, look like giant apes.